almost down to the final 7 days of the month of February, which mean March 1st, which mean the start of March Madness. But as we started talking about last week on the Jackson Sun West Tennessee Sports Podcast, before you have March Madness, you have February Frenzy. Should I patent that?
Sure.
I should patent it. Think I can make a lot of money off that?
You can become a millionaire.
Millionaire. Buy
the Jackson Sun and run it how you want it.
No, I'll become a millionaire. You'll be doing this podcast by yourself. But but I'm Brandon Shields, the high school sports columnist for the Jackson Sun. He is Michael Odom, the high school sports reporter extraordinaire.
Woo!
He's been hanging around all the basketball gyms for the past couple of months, keeping tabs on basketball. And Michael, we are in region tournament play, the actual postseason where it means a lot more than it did in district. You actually have to earn your way into the region. And so the 64 teams that are remaining in each classification across the state have earned their right to play. And for the next couple of rounds, it's win or go home. You have one more round of you can lose one. But then after that, it's win or go home for the last final 16 teams. So let's just kind of jump right into it. We're discussing boys. We already have the girls podcast up on jacksonsun.com if you want to go listen to that.
But wait till we're done here.
Yeah. Or come back if you're... Wow, that's a conundrum. Anyways, what we're discussing here is boys basketball tournaments, and let's just kind of go ahead and get into it. Region 7A, Michael, in past years when District 13A played District 14A, District 14A typically dominates. Huntington and McKenzie may have a little more to say about that this year, but it's not like 14A has taken that much of a drop-off.
No, there's actually 4 really good teams in District 14A. When you look at Humboldt with Humboldt with 1 loss, Union City with an Ole Miss signee. You've got Halls, who's been pretty dominant the past couple years, and Trenton Peabody with a post player in Chance Hill that most teams can't shut down.
He's one of the best big men in the area doing the stats. He's one of the block. He's by far the blocks leader. I'm sure there are other guys who compete with him that their coaches didn't send in stats. Thanks a lot for that, y'all. But he was blowing everybody away as far as those who returned in stats who returned in. But he was also averaging double-doubles, points and rebounds. So he's definitely makes Peabody a force to be reckoned with for, is it McKenzie they're playing? Huntington. My apologies. So, I mean, let's not sell 13A short going into this tournament. I mean, Huntington and McKenzie are the top 2 teams. They have the best chance of coming out with wins. And I'm guilty of I guess, underestimating Halls this year because they're not what they were last year when they started their season off with a 97-game win streak. How tough is this Halls matchup going to be for McKenzie?
Halls is going to bring a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed, and that's going to be something that McKenzie's going to have to figure out how to stop. I think they're going to have to rely on Brandon Bauckham inside to have a post game. And then they're going to have to hit some threes. The good thing is that they're playing at McKenzie. McKenzie always shows out for these games, so it'll be a big crowd. Not sure, how many will travel from Halls up to McKenzie, but I'm sure McKenzie will have a big crowd, and hopefully they can use that to their advantage.
Definitely. And, speaking about Humboldt and Union City, they're going to be hosting... No, but I mean, who are they hosting in the quarterfinals?
Humboldt will host West Carroll and...
Clarksburg?
No. Union City hosts Dresden.
My apologies.
Dresser-Wynn and Dresden.
Right. And with the athleticism they have on that team, I mean, how much of a threat can Dresden be to Union City?
It's going to be tough because Union City's got some really... They have some good basketball players at Union City. Dresden's got athletes. We know what Dresser-Wynn can do on the football field. We know what he can do on the baseball pitching mound. He's a great athlete, but Parker Stewart's a basketball player. Mm-hmm. He won't be recruited to Ole Miss if he's not. So they're gonna. It's gonna be a tough game. Not one I think that Dresden couldn't win, but it'll be tough.
Region 8A, District 15A will be going up against a bunch of teams from Memphis. Help me out here with the matchups for that one.
The number 1 seed out of Memphis was Memphis Mitchell, and Jackson Christian will be making the trek down to Memphis Mitchell.
Jackson Christian or TCA?
Did I say TCA? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
TCA. TCA will be making the trek down to Memphis Mitchell. Memphis Mitchell is your 2-time defending state champion. Jackson Christian will be making the trek down to MASE, Memphis Academy of Science and Engineering.
MACE.
Yeah, MACE.
Keep your eyes shielded when you go down there, Eagles.
I think this is the first time MACE has ever hosted a region quarterfinal. And then you'll have City University will make the long track to Riverside.
Whoa.
That's not going to be an easy bus
Are
ride.
they playing Saturday?
Yes.
The Saturday night they're playing? Well, we're recording this on Thursday afternoon. You think they left yet?
They're probably going to have to leave pretty soon.
Okay.
I mean, that's only going to be a long track. It'll be a hostile environment for them to play in. Riverside will have a large fan base. Their student section, the student section was out for the Middleton game in the district championship, and they'll be out for this one. And hopefully, they'll be looking at Daryl McElrath and Drake Smith and those players to have big games. And then the other matchup is MAHS at Middleton. MAHS is Memphis Academy of Health Sciences.
Our buddy John Varlas, who covers high schools for the Memphis Commercial Appeal, he refers to them as MAHS. Just for future reference, MAHS.
Okay. So the MAHS will go MAHS.
MAHS at Middleton.
MAHS made the trek to TCA last year, and Eli Parker beat him with a last-second shot.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Craig Thomas was at that game.
All right, so Middleton obviously came out with the championship. Jackson Christian's been up and down this year. Riverside's kind of had an up and down season. TCA, they've struggled more this year than they have in recent years. We were talking in the girls. Well, we were talking earlier in this podcast about sweeping districts. I mean, Middleton and Riverside should be able to compete with. At least with theirs, and Jackson Christian too.
Yeah, I think that Middleton, Jackson Christian, and Riverside all have the ability to compete and the ability to win. Now, whether they'll do it or not, I don't know. I've not seen these teams, but I think Jackson Christian should be able to compete with a team like MASE. None of these teams have been, highly acclaimed. I'm sure they got really good players, but your state-ranked teams all year were Mitchell and WEB Du Bois.
And it was Maz who took them out, right?
And Maz took WEB Du Bois out in the district quarterfinals.
So watch out for them, Middleton. Moving up to AA now with the Region 7 AA tournament. You and I both, 7 AA has been kind of what I've been watching a lot of the last couple of weeks when I've been out watching basketball. I'm pretty excited for this tournament. Yeah,
there's some really good teams. There's not that unbelievable favorite, so I think there could be some really good matchups, maybe a few upsets along the way, and maybe a team will make the finals that nobody's expecting. That's just the way this region is this year.
Well, there's so many teams in here that if you were to rank them 1 through 8, and obviously you'd have your 2 number ones be 1 and 2. I'll let you decide who would be 1 and 2 behind that, but obviously your 2 number 4s would be 7 and 8. It's hard for me to see an 8-team basketball tournament, just based on what I saw from a month ago. I know that when you and I talked before we started recording this, that Westview had some injuries. But it's hard for me to believe that Westview is not a dangerous team in that 4 seed.
Oh, I know. That matchup is a rematch of last year's region championship.
Them and Fayette Ware on Saturday night.
They played last year for the region championship. They both made the state tournament. Those are 2 good teams, and if Matt McMillan gets hot from outside or B.J. White's able to drive to the basket, Westview could pose some problems for Fayette Ware.
And then, of course, the game that I'm going to be covering Saturday night is Obion County at Southside. You've done a good job giving me some really good games to cover the last couple of weeks. Can O'Bine push Southside and create another?
It's going to be a difference in styles. In that O'Bine relies a lot on their big guys. Mm-hmm. They've got big guys inside, but they don't have the guard play that they had last year when they made the region semis. Mm-hmm. To where Southside's got Cameron Rose inside, and he's going to have a difficult time. But they've got some really good guards with Bryce McBride, Jordan Reed that are, I think, going to set the tone for Southside. So which one is able to kind of enforce their tempo?
And you got to think after the way things ended for Southside the other night that there's going to be a little more motivation to, 2.5 minutes left, we're up by 13. They're probably going to be going for a 20-point win at that point, not settling for whatever it was they were trying to settle for Tuesday night at Chester County when they lost to Fayetteville in overtime.
Right.
The other two matchups in that tournament?
You've got Lexington going to Dyersburg. That'll be a third matchup between those teams. Dyersburg's won the first two. Mm-hmm. And McNary will be making the trek to Crockett County. It was kind of a surprise, winning their first ever district title.
What's gotten into Crockett? Is their district championship about them playing well, or was there injuries for Dyersburg that gave them an advantage, or what?
No, I think Crockett's playing well. They got Josh Welch back. He's healthy, and he's really putting the team on his back at times and is being the player that he has the potential to be.
All right, Region 8 AA for anybody that just looks good, athletic, push it up and down the floor type basketball. Haywood from 15 AA, Ripley, Liberty, Northside. And who are the four teams from Memphis?
You'll have the number one seed out there is Sheffield. Sorry. Sheffield won that district. They upset Douglas. So Northside will be at Sheffield. You'll have Ripley going to Douglas. Douglas has been ranked all year. Mm-hmm. And then Craigmont is the 3. They'll be at Liberty. And then Raleigh Egypt is the 4. They'll be at Haywood.
That's a fun tournament. And unless 16 AA were to sweep this championship and semifinals would be at Liberty, right?
Correct.
That's not a central location.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, the 8 AA tournament's at a central location, but whatever. So, I mean, how fun is this tournament going to be? Am I overhyping it, or?
No, it should be some really good games. I wish they'd play all 4 of those quarterfinals on the same day, and we just sit there and watch a good 4, 5, 6 hours of basketball with those guys going at it.
All right, well, we got a little less than a couple of minutes left. We got Hardin County in 7 AAA, sorry. They are going to Bolton. And also Camden, winning their first district championship since before you were born.
In over 30, yeah, it was well over 30 years.
I was in diapers at that point. Hosting Cascade.
They'll be hosting the Cascade Champions.
Now, where is their championship and semifinals going to be? Do you know? We're going to have to look that up.
No, I don't know that off the top of my head. All right, just found it. It'll be at Creekwood High School, so that's a gym that Camden's going to be familiar with.
Okay, so they got a pretty talented team with Hunter Vick, one of the top scorers in West Tennessee for the last 7 years, it seems like. And Diego Womack, who transferred over from Northside, he's been a nice addition to that team. Does this have a chance? The only way that they're going to play a West Tennessee team now is to meet them in Murfreesboro. How much of a chance do we have of seeing that?
I mean, I think they could compete with Cascade in the semis. They'll meet somebody like Giles County or Fairview, and I think they could play with either one of those. So I think they could go on a run here.
All right, well, we've got about a week and a half of quality basketball going on all over West Tennessee. Of course, obviously, as we move through the tournament and teams get eliminated, the number of games each night will dwindle little by little, but there's still plenty of basketball to go watch. Good luck to your teams as everybody's playing to get to Murfreesboro, and thanks for listening on JacksonSun.com.